Now, you guys may know that I absolutely loved Knives Out. Knives Out was like such a refreshing callback to an old style of movie you just don't see very much of, filled with an incredible cast that was just amazing. Each one of them brought a different spark of life to the entire movie overall. It was a wonderful whodunit and got a lot of awards, attention, all that kind of stuff. So they make the announcement that they're making a sequel. Not a great title, Glass Onion. I think the full title, what is it? Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery. Not a great title, but whatever. Titles are titles. Doesn't really matter. And of course, the first trailer dropped for it the other day, which I thought was pretty charming. I liked it a lot. For a first trailer, I thought it was pretty good. The other ones will hopefully give us a little bit more of an idea about what's going on in this one. But Knives Out 2, Glass Onion, has now played at the Toronto International Film Festival. And now a lot of us who are fans of the first one have been crossing our fingers that this one can at least be almost as good as the first one. Well, according to the critics over at TIFF, this is better than the original. That's what they're saying. They're saying it's better than the original. Slash Film, our friends over at Slash Film are saying, yes, Glass Onion is even better than Knives Out. RogerEbert.com is saying in many ways it's more fun. It's a more fun movie than even the first. The Hollywood Reporter is saying it's more pleasing in most respects and neck to neck in most others. The Playlist writes, it manages to recapture the magic of that first picture without resorting to replication or imitation. It feels, frankly, like something of a miracle. IndieWire writes, fans of the first Knives Out will find plenty of the same elements to love, although Rian Johnson has studiously worked to ensure that Glass Onion stands alone. The Guardian writes, the sequel will likely find those who prefer it over the original, and just a lot of feedback like that. Listen, I am ludicrously excited about this because, again, that first one, and I was worried about the sophomore slump. Did they capture in the first Knives Out a lightning in the bottle type of scenario with the perfect cast, right? The perfect assortment of various actors in different roles that it was just, like I said, lightning in a bottle. Did they get lucky? And then you find out that they got paid $450 million to make a couple of sequels. And you think, okay, not only did they just get lucky in the first one, will they now rest on the laurels because they're cashing those checks? Doesn't matter. And then to hear this makes me very happy. Now, again, this is other people's opinions. It doesn't mean I'm going to feel the same way when I see it, but it is very exciting to hear coming out of maybe the most important film festival in the world that a lot of the people coming out are saying, not only is it good, this is better than the original. And look, not every single one coming out of there is saying that clearly, but hearing a lot of these ones like Slash Film, The Playlist, Hollywood Reporter, IndieWire, Guardian, The Wrap, I mean, it's just fantastic to hear. Anyway, Rob, you're hearing this feedback coming out. What are your first thoughts?
Well, clearly, Rian Johnson learned a lesson. He decided to go Empire Strikes Back instead of Last Jedi.
Ooh,
in terms of like that.
Well done.
So, no, but first of all, I love mystery movies. And I thought Knives Out, like you, was so much fun with that ensemble cast. You know, it harked back to the now they're remaking them like Death on the Nile. But I love those movies when I was growing up as a kid. But Knives Out had that feel to it. And, you know, I will say this, John. I think it's kind of weird that they're calling it a Knives Out mystery because Knives Out was about that mystery. And I would have thought that they would have built the franchise around the detective character that Daniel Craig plays. Benoit, what's his name?
Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc. I mean, because a Benoit Blanc mystery, sounds you like know, Glass Onion is more...
True, but from a purely marketing point of view, since the first movie was called Knives Out, you want to make sure that the audience is just when they see the title, they instantly identify it.
It's true, but, you know, like eventually, it's like when they did the Pink Panther movie, A Shot in the Dark. You know, it wasn't called The Pink Panther. I think that was the second Pink Panther movie.
Right.
And then they brought back the title of the Pink Panther. And I just, that's just an aside, but you're absolutely right. I mean, they paid $400 million for Knives Out 2.
I mean, if they had thought that there was a possibility, which I don't know if they did, that this was going to turn into a franchise, then really what they should have done is called it Knives Out, a Benoit Blanc mystery.
Yeah.
That's what they could, or maybe even retrospectively, they could have pulled, what is it called? Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, all that jazz, where where they literally just retroactively changed the name of it. Maybe they should have done that.
I mean,
don't know.
just because Craig is so good in that role.
Oh, he's so
good, and
I would say this: I almost prefer him in this role than I do as Bond, and he's my favorite Bond.
He's having way more. Look, his Bond is dour. He's having in this. He's kind of like, as far as detectives go, he's kind of like Bond because he's ahead of all these idiots, and he knows, and he's.
There's like a hint of Columbo in there. There's a lot of one more thing.
Yeah, and it's so good, and I'm so glad to hear. I mean, I even love the shot at the beginning of the trailer, that really cool yacht.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, totally different setting, completely different cast of characters, great actors. I can't wait.
And now I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that the Dave Bautista character he's a famous YouTuber. And then like that, I'm like, okay, I'm in. I want to see that. Anyway, Chris, you're hearing this feedback coming out of TIFF. What are your first thoughts?
Oh, this makes me feel good because I love the first Knives Out, and I really was worried about that ensemble situation, right? Was this just the perfect lightning in a bottle kind of thing where we had this great ensemble cast, this great story, and now we're kind of trying to put that genie back in there and see if it happens again. And it's so nice to hear like it is coming together because I'm a huge Agatha Christie fan.
Yeah.
I love that Benoit Blanc is our Hercule. I love that, we have this kind of fun, witty detective who does like to toy with his people as he's solving a mystery. He is having so much fun doing this, which is lovely to see. I'm really, really pumped about this. And I stand by. I don't think Glass Onion is that bad of a title because there's a two-pronged thing here, right? If it is very much a Beatles reference, then it's how Paul McCartney was thinking it was hilarious that people always read into his lyrics and then just threw Glass Onion in there. So people would be like, what's a glass onion? And then it was, oh my gosh, it must be something multi-layered, but also translucent. And it proved his point of like, sometimes it's just a dumb thing. So I'm hoping that the movie plays on that too. Is it something that is right in our face and we should have known about it? Or is it just something that is this other little mystery that has to be unwound and unlayered?
Now, John, are they planning a theatrical release? I mean, I would think something like this that they would now that Netflix is going weekly, they're talking about going weekly. I would think that they would embrace theatrical for something like this.
We have heard conflicting reports over the months. So like we heard a couple months ago, a solid story came out of one of the major trades that they were seriously looking at doing this. Now, apparently what is actual fact is that Netflix and the theater chains have been negotiating, trying to get Glass Onion in theaters. But there have been two holdups. Holdup number one has been the theatrical window. Like the theaters are insisting that Netflix has got to respect at minimum a 45-day window. Mm-hmm. The second problem, which apparently is the bigger obstacle, is that the theaters are kind of insisting that Netflix make a commitment to how much they're going to spend in marketing. Because for the theaters, there's no point in having the movie on their screens if Netflix doesn't put up the money to advertise it. So that has apparently been the big holdup. And as the last I heard, talks are ongoing, but they haven't been able to make a lot of movement, I don't think.
Yeah, because, they don't have an apparatus. They don't have a theatrical marketing apparatus. I mean, that's a whole division of a studio.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. But, why not make some of that cheddar back theatrically on a movie that is apparently this good?
Well, more than that, Rob, you and I have pointed this out before. It's not... The bigger thing isn't even put it in theaters so you can make a little bit of that theatrical money. That's not even the big thing.
Right.
The big thing is it's been proved over and over and over again that if you put the movies in theaters first, later when you launch them on your streamer, it has a bigger launch on your streamer. It's been look what just happened with Top Gun Maverick. Because that thing didn't go... That thing released on for digital, availability for digital, way bigger than it would have if Top Gun Maverick had skipped a theatrical release and just put it straight to digital.
I mean, it was going to be, I think it was number one digital and number one theatrical.
Yeah, it was.
First time in history.
It smashed a lot of records when it went digital because it had a theatrical release. So I think Netflix would like to do it. I know the theaters would like to do it. They just got to be able to find a way to find some common ground and make it happen.
I just find it's interesting because the first movie was, for the amount of money they spent, it was a pretty big hit.
Yeah.
And so
Academy Award nominated.
Yeah, and this is going to expand on that. So why would you want to reduce the stature of a movie and throw it onto streaming?
Well, it sounds like they're going to try to make it work. So whether they can or not, we'll find out. Question is for you guys. What do you think? The critics out of TIFF are saying this is better than the original, and I thought the original was fantastic. Maybe it wasn't your cup of tea. Maybe that one didn't really work for you. Maybe you're not even looking forward to this movie. Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. Hey guys, we want to thank one of the sponsors of today's video, HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep and completely ready to prepare. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. And guys, I know we are always looking for ways to save some money. In fact, HelloFresh is 25% less expensive than takeout, and it's even more cheaper than going to the grocery store too. And HelloFresh isn't just for dinners. Shop HelloFresh Market for quick breakfasts, wholesome snacks, and even desserts. You'll find everything you need to satisfy your cravings without stepping a foot in the grocery store or mini-mart. Listen, you know, I've told you guys before, Ann and I are both working professionals, so finding time to eat healthy and eat together is often challenging. But I'm telling you, these HelloFresh meal kits have made it easy to eat a lot healthier, it's less expensive for us, and we have a blast. And there's nothing like feeling like a chef when you put the final product on the plate. So right now, go to HelloFresh.com/Campea16 and use the promo code Campea16 for 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts. That's HelloFresh.com/Campea16 and use the promo code Campea16.